Hello to my collective, welcome back to the channel. This is Reverie Readings and Healings, where I post collective card readings to bring through messages and energies of channeling and activation for the highest and best good of the collective from your higher selves and spirit guides. And today we are doing a pick a card. I say today I'm probably just going to film this intro and pile 1 and film piles 2 and pile 3 on separate days and upload them separately. So once they are uploaded, you'll find links to each pile in the description box. And these cards are from the Shadowscapes Tarot deck. So let's see what we have. For pile 1, we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. Getting a few different angles of the light here. I have both natural light and ring light going on at the moment because it's very rainy here, so not enough natural light on its own. So Knight of Wands in reverse. Okay. We have the Queen of Cups upright for pile 2. Loving that. I'm getting such a peaceful energy from that one. And we have the Ace of Cups in reverse for pile 3. I like to show you what the card looks like upright so you can be sure to make sense of the image for yourself, especially when it's such a detailed type of artwork as the Shadowscapes deck. Alright, so Knight of Wands in reversed, Queen of Cups upright, and Ace of Cups reverse. Take your time, pause the video if you need to, take some deep breaths or do a brief meditation to feel into your body or your intuition or spirit, or to ask your heart to pull you to which pile or piles has or have messages for you, and I'll see you at your reading. Hello, pile 2, and welcome to your reading. This is your reading if you chose the Queen of Cups significator card from the Shadowscapes Tarot deck. And today we're getting messages from your spirit guides, whatever you need to hear right now, whatever your higher selves or spirit guides from this collective want to bring through for you. I'm feeling called to leave this in the center of your reading and to start with the Unfolding Path Tarot deck. I get into such a tizzy about trying to keep the cards straight and being completely unable to. Here's what the Unfolding Path deck looks like if you are curious. Let's get shuffling. What does pile 2 need to hear today, please? Akashic Records, Universe, Source, Spirit Guides. The Moon. It's so funny, I just saw this when I cut the deck prior to beginning shuffling. The Moon, the 18th major arcana. 9 has some numerological significance here, bringing a cycle to a close. Let's see what else we have here. 4 of Swords in reverse. Here's what it looks like upright in case you would like a better look. 4 of Swords in reverse. 8 of Cups. I've actually never drawn this card from this deck before. I love what a revelation it is every time I see a card in a different context. Interesting having the deep greens in the Moon and the 8 of Cups. It's a little more blue or teal in the Moon card, but still. Heart chakra renewal is something I'm really strongly getting. Leaving behind something disappointing with the 8 of Cups. And really turning your back on it for good is what I'm hearing from your spirit guides. You're not repeating this cycle ever again. You've really cleaned out the last dregs of it. And some of you may have listened to some of my previous readings on this channel and maybe breathing a bit of a sigh of relief at that, because there have been a number of readings in the months since I started this channel where people have really been clearing out the final dregs, the final debris from ancestral trauma, ancestral karma, cycles they've been repeating from childhood. And there's a really strong message here of you are done. The end. Kaput. It's gone. It's all gone. There's not a trace left. That's what your spirit guides are saying. And there's this phase of rest and renewal with the Four of Swords and the Moon following, leaving behind this final page of the final chapter. And really, truly leaving behind what is not your responsibility. Like, you get it now, that this is not your responsibility to clean up these spilled cups. They were never even your cups to start with. It's actually reminding me of my energy with trying to make the cards go straight, where I'm getting this image from your spirit guides of you having been trying to stack these cups into a pyramid and getting discouraged every time they fell over and making it mean that there was something wrong with you. And after enough repetitions of the cycle in different forms, you finally realize there's nothing wrong with you. These just aren't your cups. They're just not your cups. The ones that are for you will work for you. It's an interesting message because we live in a time where sometimes people have an absence of a relationship with challenge in their lives. So at the first challenge, they give up and walk away from something and assume that any challenge means that it's not for them. But this is like the mirror image reversal of that. It's like you've struggled to make things work, to make yourself fit things, because you assumed, based on feedback you got in childhood, and based potentially also on inherited patterns. My eyes were just drawn like magnetically to my selenite wand in this room on this windowsill. So you've definitely done major cleansing, and that also goes along with the moon energy. Selenite is named after the moon. Okay, back to what I was in mid-sentence about. Your patterns from childhood have involved feedback that signaled to you that you're supposed to be able to fit anywhere, that you're supposed to be able to please everyone, that you're supposed to be able to work with anyone under any conditions, under any circumstances, and that it's your fault if you don't or can't or it doesn't work. It means there's something defective about you. And after many repetitions, you've realized layer by layer how untrue all of those meanings that were foisted upon you actually are. And you've come to the conclusion of, I actually get to choose which challenges I pick, which challenges I pursue, which challenges are worthwhile to me. And I get to choose challenges that feel good, because there's a real big difference between a challenge where you do have to choose courageously and hold fear like a crying infant while you move forward with this thing that scares you because you know it's worthwhile to you. And there is a little bit of making yourself do things in that regard, but there's no making yourself do things in the sense of rubbing against the grain of your own will, desires, essence, vibration, energy, frequency. There's none of that level of forcing in the challenges that are meant for us, and in the challenges that we choose with our free will wholeheartedly. And you really get that now. And you're in this period with the Four of Swords reversed here of resting and recharging after some significant cleansing. It may also have been subtle, but still significant cleansing in this regard. And the moon is really strongly reflecting this cleansing, purifying energy here. And union with your shadow. There's a really strong likelihood that for many of you, you have, and this isn't going to be the case for all of you, for some of you, you've been working with the circumstances in your life and walking away from situations and relationships. For some of you, with the moon signifying the union with the shadow and these ways in which you've been working with karmic cycles for a long time, you've been actively pursuing shadow work with this goal in mind of changing your life and transmuting these cycles into, you know, from a whirlpool that sucks you in into an outward, upward spiral that you get to ride and coast up to the stars, to your dreams, to the sky, to soar on. And you've done it. You've done it. And there's this sense with the Four of Swords reversed kind of balanced atop the Eight of Cups upright of you being at this 0 point now where you're exiting that whirlpool and entering the upward spiral. So you're just now catching the lift of the wind under your wings. And you're not meant to be exerting force to ride the wind at this time. You're meant to be resting. So don't rush yourself, and don't be unkind to yourself. Don't be unkind to yourself. Okay, the back of the deck on the Unfolding Path Tarot is the Knight of Swords in reverse. Here's what it looks like upright. Knight of Swords reversed. What do we have here? Yeah, don't rush yourself. That was what I just said, wasn't it? I'm not sure where this is being called to be put yet. It's kind of wanting to go under both of those, so we'll do that for now. Okay. Where are you drawing me to next, Spirit? Because we're done with the Unfolding Path Tarot for now. Where are we getting messages from next? Okay. They're saying the Legendary Ladies deck. I have to pull it out from under a couple of other decks. Thanks for bearing with me. Here's what it looks like if you're curious. I just love the art on this Oracle deck, so I was really excited to get it a few weeks ago. What messages do you have for pile 2, the Queen of Cups pile, spirit guides and higher selves of this collective? Are you pulling both of these? Okay, both of these. 2 came out together. Oh, that's gorgeous. Sarasvati, enlightenment, and Lakshmi, abundance. This very much represents getting on that upward spiral and sustaining it, because Sarasvati and Lakshmi are the feminine counterparts of Brahma and Vishnu, who represent creation and sustaining, and in the sort of holy trinity that those gods and goddesses are a part of, Kali in the feminine and Shiva in the masculine represent death. So there's this cycle from death to birth to sustenance to death to birth to sustenance that those trinities in the masculine and the feminine represent. I'm not an expert on Hinduism, so I know there are definitely other, like, just hundreds of stories and, you know, lore related to every god and goddess in the lore of Hinduism. For example, Sarasvati is associated with music. Some of you are definitely musicians or writers. I'm getting that very strongly here. And we also have the owl associated with Lakshmi here, as well as the lotus, and of course abundance. I'm really, really impressed. Oh, and we have the swan association with Sarasvati. And the swan in Hindu traditions and in spirituality in general has long been associated with, because it is the largest flighted bird. Is that how you say it? The largest flying bird, if I'm not mistaken. The heaviest flying bird. It's really strongly associated with being able to soar up to high heights and dive down to deep depths, because it also hunts by fishing and diving into lakes. It's also very territorial. You do not naturally see more than one family of swans, one pair of swans and their few babies in any given lake. And you protecting your energy is something that your spirit guides are applauding you for and congratulating you for, because that is hugely what has gotten you onto this upward spiral and out of the pits, the depths of despair, the abyss. And what is going to make it possible, about to make it possible for you to sustain this in a really big, beautiful, lasting, abundant way, a way that will multiply and pay dividends, which is such a it's such a delightful message to be able to bring through for you. It really, they're giving me the feeling of being showered in rich golden energy. So this is deeply nourishing abundance. It's not superficial. Satisfaction with life, with the Queen of Cups, fulfillment, satisfaction with life, peace, the freedom within yourself, and the groundedness, sense of abundance and worth within yourself to rest whenever you need to, and completely, to like really completely let go and decompress, instead of feeling haunted and dogged all the time by like, I need to do more, I need to prove my worth, I need to keep earning. No, you're free of that. That is the karmic cycle you've walked away from. You no longer need to earn or prove or deny aspects of yourself in order to gain favor, approval, or the rightful rewards of your hard work. Reap what you've sown. What you've sown is no longer for others to reap. You have ensured that by protecting your energy. A huge congratulations. And also, some of you may have been drawn to pile 1. I said that in pile 1 because we got the King of Cups in pile 1 and Queen of Cups was your significator card. And I forgot about that until I was speaking about this protection of your energy just now. So some of you may feel that you're kind of in this state of transitioning from the pile 1 energy to the pile 2 energy, because the pile 1 message was strongly about unhesitatingly and unflinchingly protecting your energy and yourself, and owning your feelings and your boundaries. So if you are feeling like really strongly how you're at that 0 point and kind of teetering between the downward spiral and the upward spiral, the vortex and the radiance, I would strongly suggest then that suggests you are aligned with pile 1 and might benefit from hearing that message to encourage you and fortify you as you go about continuing to strengthen your willingness and choice to protect yourself and to utilize your free will to strengthen and support and gird yourself, like treating yourself like you are an important and precious building or fortress in and of yourself that you are choosing to maintain and fortify and take really good care of, so that it can in turn take care of you throughout the rest of your life. Treating your energy, your whole being in this way. Really, really cool energy. We have this really rich, abundant water energy in all 3 of these cards, especially Lakshmi and the Queen of Cups, really in alignment and matching these vibrations, Lakshmi and the Queen of Cups. We just have 2 sort of mirror images of them here, because we have the Queen of Cups in the depths in the Shadowscapes card. We have Lakshmi at the surface, in the lotus that has grown out of the mud and out of the depths in the abundance card. And that really brings me back to what I mentioned about the swan. It's your ability and willingness and choice to go as far down as anyone possibly could into the depths that is enabling you to emerge now from maybe feeling like you were drowning or at the mercy of the winds of life with the Knight of Swords in reverse there, to actually feeling supported by your work underground, by your shadow, in alignment between your conscious and unconscious or subconscious, having created a sense of alliance and camaraderie and kinship between these parts of you, so that you are less and less and less at war with yourself and more all together, all on board with this journey up into the clouds. This choice to know, actually, I love myself, I care about myself, I consider myself worthwhile enough to close ranks around myself and protect myself, including the parts of me that are in the most pain, that are the deepest suppressed within my shadow and unconscious. I'm choosing to go to them, to rescue them and protect them, and all these parts of me are aligning and allying to close ranks around them and give them what they need and say no. Nothing else is going to mess with them. They've been messed with enough. They were victimized enough. I recognize that there's nothing wrong with them. I didn't see that before. I was buying the lie I was sold by others who did harm to me, that they were in so much pain, these parts of me, because there was something wrong with them. There was never anything wrong with them. It was what was done to them that was causing them so much pain. And I'm now saying, no, that's not okay. And I'm bringing them back into the fold and rescuing them from that and treating them as the worthy, whole, correct beings who are having appropriate responses to what happened to them that they were all along. And that is what has created this powerful alignment for you, Pile 2, that is propelling you upward and onward, Excelsior, into this new chapter of your life, that your spirit guides are really guiding you not to worry about trying to forecast at this moment. Really strongly nurturing you with all this lovely water, feminine, nurturing energy, emotional fulfillment energy, caretaking, rest, plumbing in the depths energy, and protecting your heart and refusing to rush. Your spirit guides are calling you in to continue nurturing your present moment and your feelings and being present with yourself, aligned and allied with yourself. To continue creating this trust within yourself, and to trust in so doing that your next steps are going to unfold like the petals of the lotus. I'm being shown like these divine pebbles being plopped in front of you in the water, leading you down towards the horizon on your path. Kind of like the coins falling out of her hand. Yeah, do not concern yourself with the future. Your spirit guides are saying very strongly and very gently. I don't think very many of you are actually worrying about that at this moment, but where we did have this strong message not to rush, and where that giddy excitement of being lifted up into that upward spiral can be quite a rush, you might feel that temptation to try to forecast and plan. And they're just saying it's just not the time for that right now. You will be nudged into planning in divine timing. Right now is that time for continuing to fortify yourself so that you have like this solid scaffolding to build on, this solid foundation to build on, so that that upward spiral and radiance is truly sustainable with Lakshmi here, so that it has deep, deep roots like the lotus. And the ability to continue diving deep as needed like the swan without getting sucked in by a vortex. You have the ability to pop back out and continue rising and radiating. I hope that's making sense. I really get the strong feeling that you have spent a lot of your life feeling like you are treading water and keeping your head above water, and the progress that you have seen has been the ability to keep your head above water for longer and longer periods of time, and with less and less difficulty in between periods of feeling like you get pushed back under the waves and drown for a little bit again before you're able to recover yourself. So it's like this constant state of recovery without the without enough time of head above water to actually start to get to build and really get to stop being pulled under and really permanently, or as close to permanently as anyone can in a life that keeps happening, stop drowning. And this is why this is your big transition here, because this combination of it being a new chapter, the old chapter being really well and truly done, and the new one being sustainable, is like you are going to keep diving back into the depths and into the shadow because that's life, but you aren't going to drown like you have in the past ever again. That doesn't mean you won't experience difficult moments, moments of feeling suffocated, moments of feeling overwhelmed. Again, this is part of life. As the Buddhists say, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. You are not going to suffer the way you have in the past again, even though you will, of course, experience times of challenge or pain and feelings that might overwhelm you at times. They're not going to derail you the way that you have been derailed and lost and consumed in the past. I hope this is making sense, because I really don't want to feed into the spiritual bypassing messaging that we're getting all the time, that, oh, if you just follow this morning routine, you'll never suffer or experience pain again. There's so much BS messaging out there that's really just marketing. It's really just capitalism in another suit, and I'm sick of it. Life involves a certain amount of difficulty and pain. That's part of being alive, and we choose that is worth it by choosing to be here. By being feeling beings, we decide that we are willing to feel things that we want and things that we don't want, things that we like and things that we don't like, for the sake of being really fully alive and present, and how much vibrance and purpose and learning and truth that gives us. And that foundation in truth and in reality is what's making this abundance possible for you. This embrace of reality is what your abundance is built on, and that's why it's this deeply nourishing emotional fulfillment and not just superficial abundance. There was a reading I did a couple months ago that mentioned this reading is really strongly aligned with that one. It mentioned that you may have wondered and felt really despairing and suffering about financial circumstances, but that you chose, if that reading aligned with you, and I strongly feel that it probably did if you're aligned with this reading, you chose when you came into this life that you were not going to fall into the traps that so many people do of devoting your life to the false god of money and worshiping at the altar of that and giving up everything that has a deep meaning for the sake of superficial abundance. You chose that your material abundance would come from roots, would flower and blossom from roots of spiritual abundance, self-worth, understanding what really matters, which is love and relationships and how we treat ourselves and each other, and our relationship with source and with the planet. All of these things that really matter were what you were going to be rooted in. You chose that before coming into this life, and that made it so that you were not going to quote unquote get rich quick or fall into any of these other schemes, and that might have been frustrating and incredibly, it might have created suffering at times in your life, but in the long term, in the bigger picture, when you zoom out, it's preventing you, it's saving you from having fallen into or being vulnerable or susceptible to falling into these pitfalls that so many people do, where they make money the meaning of their life and then they wonder why they feel so empty, and they wonder why their relationships aren't satisfying them. I hope that makes sense. On the back of the deck, we have Sedna cleansing, which is very much in alignment with what I was saying about the moon and the rest of this reading. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love this, and so much in alignment with all of this water, all of this emotional Queen of Cups energy, so much fulfillment and satisfaction on the emotional level. And I'm not being called to pull this card, but I am being called to show it to you. We also have healing here in alignment with this message as well. Where are we going, Spirit? Where are we going? Clear my mind, please, Spirit. Clear my energy, please, Spirit. Make me a clear vessel and a clear channel. We are going to the Spirit Song Tarot. Thank you for removing any blockages in the way of me reading accurately for pile 2, Spirit. And thank you for removing any sense of rush or frenzy or hurry that might get in the way of reading with divinity imbued in my reading. We have the King of Cups. Oh my gosh, the King of Cups in reverse in a different deck came out in the Shadowscapes deck, actually came out in pile 1, and the King of Cups in reverse just came out in the Spirit Song Tarot. Definitely an alignment between piles 1 and 2 for many of you. Messages in both piles for many of you. Harmony and integrity. King of Shells. What is this? I'm getting this feeling of a resistance to going down into the depths. What is this coming through for? What are you trying to tell me? Higher selves and spirit guide of pile 2's collective. What are you trying to tell me? Harmony, integrity, cleansing, Sedna, the otters, the seaweed. On the back of the deck here we have the Nine of Pentacles, security and abundance, which is the spider spirit in the Spirit Song deck. I see. Okay, the next, or maybe not the next, one of the next shadows or layers that's going to come up for a lot of you in this reading is the ingrained impulse, the conditioning to try to control, to try to latch onto and grip onto your new progress, to make sure it doesn't slip out of your fingers. And your guidance is hold on loosely, but don't let go. Do not tighten your fingers around this. Don't try to control this upward spiral. That's why they were saying that don't get into forecasting and planning and trying to predict too much at this point. Let it unfold, because it's going to unfold naturally and effortlessly. You don't have to control it. And you'll just, if you do get into that trap, you know, of weaving your own web and getting yourself trapped into it by accident, of trying to control and like manipulate your progress, and trying to resist when your emotions are calling you back down into the depths, saying, no, I'm going to lose my progress. First of all, recognize that your emotions calling you back into the depths is actually what got you here, what got you this far, and that they simply have a message for you and a part of you that may be in pain and may need rescuing, and it's actually part of your progress, not an antagonist to it. And thank the parts of you that are trying to protect yourself by engaging the defense mechanisms of, I need to control, I need to latch on, I can't let this get away, I can't let myself backslide. And then engage witness consciousness and watch, compassionately witness the part of you that is threatening to spiral into panic should this arise for you. This is probably not going to arise for every one of you, so I'm not trying to trigger that energy or emotion in those of you for whom it doesn't apply, but it's coming through me as an emotion or really strongly. So it definitely is a message that is needed for some of you. And as I move and heal this energy, may you also feel this energy be moved and healed for you, so that this reading can be a healing as well as a reading. I wish that that is so. Amen and aho. Engage witness consciousness to compassionately witness the part of you that is spiraling into panic. And to ask that part of you from the most nurturing Queen of Cups, Lakshmi Saraswati, Goddess, Sedna part of you, the most moon-struck part of you, the most powerful, empowered part of you that is embracing and nurturing and grounded. Ask the part of you that is spiraling into panic, what do you need, sweetheart? Will you let me embrace you? Can we just pause for a moment? Do you need to take a walk? Can we just pause and sit or lie down for a moment and let these feelings move through us? Let's breathe. Listen to what that part of you that's panicking has to say. Listen to where and when they are from. Listen to whom and where and when they learned this behavior and these beliefs potentially, or thought patterns from. I'm getting thought patterns more than beliefs. More like a knee-jerk, oh, this happened and therefore I'm trained to go to this thought. But wait a second, I don't actually even believe that anymore. It's not a belief anymore. It's just a pattern. And that's where that witness consciousness engaging is going to give that part of you that learned this from, you know, a mother or father or adult or peer in the past, a new figure to look to and go, oh, wait a second. This part of my being is not freaking out. maybe there's another way. Maybe there's a new way. Maybe the way that I am used to or conditioned to isn't the way. And oh, your breath can reach that part of you. And you can, instead of being derailed into drowning, you can derail the drowning and be your own lifeguard and bring yourself back to the surface to breathe in gulps of fresh air and restore harmony and integrity to your being and go back to fortifying. And so by way of releasing that control, liberating the parts of yourself that are trapped by their own learned behavior to try to protect you by engaging those traps, by liberating those parts of you, you fertilize your own Nine of Pentacles, your ability to stand on your own 2 feet in your lotus abundance, and to really feel the blessings you are in, and not resist them and not try to control them and end up in that trap that so many people end up in, where they are living a truly blessed life surrounded by so much abundance, wealth, friendship, work that's fulfilling to them, and yet they don't feel it because they're so panicked all the time about losing what they've gained that they don't enjoy to the fullest extent what they've gained. You're being steered away from that trap. You are being divinely guided before you even fall into that trap as to how to maneuver should you notice yourself stepping on it or stepping in it, as the case may be. Should you notice, that trap tightening around your neck or around your wings or around your mind or around your root chakra, you have this guidance and this wisdom within yourself and from your spirit guides to grab onto instead of tightening your grip on restricting and constricting yourself in your own flow and your own breath of abundance, your own breath of life force. Yeah, that's really what threatens to get constricted by that control energy, is the flow of life force. And that ends up domino affecting everything in your life. So that's a really powerful preventive medicine that I truly hope helps you pile to. I'm getting another card from the Spirit Song. Is it this one? Okay. 7 of Swords, 7 of Feathers, preparation and resourcefulness. Yes, you are being prepared so that any patterns or shadows like that will not steal your light, your love, and will not be misconstrued as stealing your progress. It is up to you to not assume that any negative emotion you feel is stealing your progress and making you backslide or is signifying a loss. There's simply more layers to feel through, feel into, learn from, discover. It's not actually inherently a bad thing. And so draw on all these resources and all this wisdom that you've learned to prevent yourself from stealing from yourself or from being drained by unnecessary strife and unnecessary panic. And also potentially by naysayers that could try to poke at you, but don't actually need to have access to your field, don't actually need to have access to your ears. There's no need to allow them any access so as to even speak to you or be heard by you. So yes, this is a preemptive message of preparation so that, truly you can wield this preparation to prevent yourself from ever falling into any of those traps that could deplete you in the first place. And if you do fall into them at all, having this preparation can save you from staying stuck in them or falling deeper into them or really believing the lies or illusions that their webs are constructed out of. For some reason, I'm hearing what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive, that Shakespeare quote. I'm being told that I'm not meant to know how that's going to resonate for those of you that's going to resonate for. I am being told that for some of you, it's a confirmation that someone in your life is being deceitful. But I'm being told that you're going to know. It's going to hit the people it needs to hit. And trust what you think it's a signal or a sign or a confirmation of. Because it is. For some of you, it may be a warning about not creating problems or complications for yourself unnecessarily by like being dishonest or hiding something when you don't need to hide it. Whereas for others of you, it is a confirmation about someone else in your life. But I'm being told that's all I need to know, that's all I need to transmit. And I'm being drawn to the Naked Heart Tarot. That's how that deck looks. If you have not seen it before, it's not my most frequently used deck, so it's possible that you haven't, even if you've been here before. Okay, I'm feeling calm start to move back into my spine after that really intense panic was coming through from that message with the King of Cups reversed and the Nine of Crystals. I don't know if I've ever gotten such a strong, definitive, like preemptive, do this and you won't have to suffer these consequences message. I really don't think I have before, which is just really cool to see the different applications of these readings and these healings. Judgment. Oh, how cool is that? How synchronistic is that with the message we just got? Like, use your discernment, trust your judgment, keep your eyes open. As above, so below, as within, so without. And it is your willingness to travel to the depths of the shadows that allows you to soar above. It's the butterfly's willingness to enter the cocoon, not knowing what's going to happen and how they're going to be transformed, that allows them to be transformed and to fly. And there's something about finding your people here with this whole flock of butterflies. And yes, this just so happened to come out next to the Eight of Cups. Some of you did this a long time ago, but some of you are just now leaving behind people who are not your people. Maybe they were deceitful and this message was about them. And you're being called to trust that you are going to fly towards your people. Excuse me. Let's take that as confirmation, shall we? Oh, yeah, I just tried to watch your back because these eyes are on the backs of these wings. Yes, some of you are being guided really strongly away from untrustworthy people and being asked very beseechingly and very gently by your spirit guides to trust that you are going to find your people. Do not settle for poisoned cups. Do not think that is the only love that life has to offer you. Do not think those are the only people available. Real love is around the corner. You're not meant to see where it's gonna be found yet. You're not meant to know exactly where you're gonna find your people yet. That's where you're called back to that message of let the path unfold instead of trying to plan and predict and constrict it and control it. Let yourself be guided one breadcrumb at a time to your people. Do not hesitate in 100% cutting the cords with the former groups of people. Do not let them tempt you back. You know why you left. You know why you left. You know what the poison was. You know what the theft or deceit or undercurrents that were going unacknowledged were. You know what the energetic drainage or vampirism was. You know what the gaslight was. You see it very clearly now, and you are able to see it coming from a mile away, even when they're trying to sneak up behind you. And call on your spirit guides to enforce that if you have any doubt whatsoever in that. even the double X used in the Roman numerals for the number 20, since Judgment is the 20th major arcana, is coming across as extraordinarily protective in this card. And we have the Eye of Horus as well. They're not just eyes, they're the eyes of Horus. So, yes, utilize spiritual protection at this time. That is, again, harkening back to pile 1. I give some tips on spiritual protection in that pile that I've never been called to give before, so check that out if you feel like that particular message is resonating especially strongly for you, because that will give you some suggestions for meditations and visualizations you can use to strengthen your psychic protection and your protection of your energetic field especially. So check that out if you feel called to, no worries if not. You may feel that this is more on an emotional level than on a psychic level, in which case protect your heart. We're talking about the heart healing and clearing and renewal with all the greens at the beginning. Protect your heart. I just heard don't go wasting your emotion. I don't remember the name of that song or the name of the band that did that song, but don't show up to situations that you already know. And I really think you know this already, because we had such a strong message at the beginning of like, you have washed your hands of this cycle completely. So this is just kind of confirmation for you of like, don't get your hands dirty again after you just wash them. Don't put yourself back in these environments of poison cups when you just got the poison out of your system and just took the antidote. You know, the antidote just kicked in. Don't take another dose of poison. Don't go back where you know you're going to be vampirized. Just a real strong, solid confirmation of just say no. There was a lot of messaging in pile 1 about energetic field protection that is extremely durable without causing you to unintentionally refuse to allow love and nourishment in. But I'm getting such a strong image for this particular iteration of like, drop the wall, drop the black tourmaline, black onyx, obsidian solid wall with the people that have no right to access you or know where you are or know what you're up to. And just don't do it. Just don't let them in. Ghost them, stay invisible to them. Become a ghost to them in that, like, they have no right to know what you're up to. You have no need to show yourself to them or justify yourself to them. Slightly bewildering message again without context, but I trust that those of you who need that already know the context, because it's your life. Okay. The Spirit of Pentacles. So that is the King of Pentacles. How cool is that? Queen of Cups, King of Pentacles. Talk about abundance. This is emotional and physical abundance, emotional fulfillment, physical wealth or security, or both. Definitely groundedness in your self-worth. Completely un-F-withable on that, like the bowl, the trees, the roots, the Taurus energy. You may as well try to move a mountain as try to move a Turian bowl. And that is very much the strength of the, like, no, you move. I'm not accommodating you. Again, that we were getting with that, just say no to these people or situations that you already walked away from. If they try to tempt you back, just don't even respond. Just wall them off, you know? Stonewall them. That's the word I was trying to remember. Yeah, be unmovable on the things that you are not willing to compromise, on the boundaries that are firm boundaries, not soft boundaries, not workable, flexible boundaries for you. Be unmovable on them. Just say no. And that is that's the other sort of part, besides the willingness to go to the emotional depths, that is rooting and supporting your ability to soar up into this upward radiant spiral and actually be as light as the butterfly, because you're not taking on the weight of responsibility for anyone else. You're owning your boundaries, and so that lets you drop all this burden of trying to manage your boundaries or manage other people's emotions or reactions. And so you get to be light as a feather and as a butterfly and soar and really see where the winds take you and explore and let your future unfold, because you don't need to try to control it and constrict it or restrict it when you know you are keeping yourself safe uncompromisingly and unflinchingly. That's why this dovetails so perfectly with pile 1. Okay. Wow. Okay, I was not expecting this. This was the back of the deck energy here. The 16th major arcana, the Tower. And this is upright. Most of this reading has really been suggestive that a lot of Tower moments are in the past for this group. But this final leaving behind of this cycle that you've been working your way out of slowly for such a long time now might be such a radical shift in your internal world that it like fully clicking into place and there no longer being any resistance to the healing and desires you've sought for so long might kind of create a radical sea change in your external life as well. Like bolts from the blue, opportunities that you love but that require you to shake things up in a way that you may not completely feel prepared to do. And so that's where that energy we spoke about at the beginning of, okay, you're not making yourself do things you truly don't want anymore. You're not making yourself do things just because you have to anymore. You might still be called to do things that are challenging or that you don't feel completely ready for or that scare you, but that you love the idea of, that you're excited about. There's a huge difference between being scared and excited and wanting something. It's like, I'm scared but I still want it, versus like, I'm scared and I don't want it and this isn't worth it to me. Huge difference there. Big sea change here. And we have all of the elements in this representation of the Tower: the earth, fire, water, wind, and even electricity. So I'm really strongly getting like a shakeup that is actually a recipe for your new cake is what I just heard, but it's like for what you're building. A shakeup that actually contains all the ingredients for building your next thing. It's going to feel at first like it's tearing everything down, but it's very quickly going to be revealed that it actually contains or is giving you or is revealing to you everything that you need for your next steps. You're not actually not being taken care of. You're not actually having what you need taken away, even though at first it might feel extremely disruptive. But what it's burning away is actually just what was obscuring or obstructing the very things you wanted and needed the most. Wow, I'm actually really shocked by that message, because this was overall actually like a really peaceful, the dominant vibe of this reading was a really peaceful one, and this is like the final closing message is the Tower. But it is like this, I'm going to recap just a little bit here, so I hope this isn't redundant. I hope this is helpful for me to recap a little bit. This message was about, you're currently at this 0 point, emerging from the vortex of a cycle that you've closed and into the radiant upward spiral of building something new, new beliefs, new thought patterns, new ways of living, new ways of moving through life, and of relating to yourself and to your emotions and to your internal world, building a new internal and external world. You're being cautioned and prepared to make sure that you check yourself before you wreck yourself if you start to feel like any panic that you need to control and tighten your grip on your new progress, and also being guided and prepared in case other people or external situations try to drag you back like the zombies in an apocalypse film, towards the poisoned waters that you just emerged from. You're being called to engage spiritual protection to help you with that discernment as well. And having passed those final barriers of the temptation or siren song of control patterns and the potential attempts by people from the past or similar people or situations to try to record you, having successfully surpassed those barriers, this tower moment comes to free you from the life that you're leaving behind, just like the Eight of Cups from the beginning, and hand you everything you need to build the new life. And the degree of disruption may feel quite intense, but it is going to be very quick that it goes from overwhelming to, wait a second, all of the elements and materials I need to build, all of the ingredients I need for this recipe are actually here. They're actually being handed to me. I don't need to control this. I don't need to seek help from untrustworthy people, because everything I need, the whole recipe, is actually right here in this new beginning that just kind of took a wrecking ball to what was left of my old life. It's actually this beautiful double-edged sword of clearing away the debris that was just in your way anyway, and giving you the new idea, the new connections, the new materials, again is the word coming through, needed to set off on your new path. The supplies, the victuals for your journey. So I really hope that's making sense, because it is kind of this scorched earth vibe here, but it's not a desert in the aftermath. It's actually the paradise of Lakshmi and Saraswati and of the Queen of Cups, and not fully established and built up yet. It's like the castle is there for you to build, but you're gonna have all the materials right there, because it is this Eden, this paradise. You don't need to go elsewhere to go finding the lumber and the bricks and the mortar and the fruit trees and the soil that is fertile enough to grow vegetables. Like, it's all gonna be right there. It's just gonna be up to you to capitalize on it and plant the seeds and water them and use the building materials in the way that works best for them and for you. So the scorched earth thing is actually just burning away the last of any obstructions or veils that might have kept you from accessing or seeing or getting to the right people, the right materials, the right places, the right ideas with which you can abundantly, prosperously build this next stage of your life and of your fulfillment. I am really shocked by that message. The readings always surprise me, but I don't know if I've ever actually been as surprised by one as I am by this one. And they are telling me to leave it there. They're saying that's everything we need, but they are saying I can draw a few tea leaf cards to get a few final messages. There's my singing bowl. Okay, let's see what the tea leaves have to offer us in the way of any last clarifications or tidbits. Torch, spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. What confirmation of the scorched earth? Look how similar those flames are in the torch and in the tower. I'm really getting strongly, actually, don't be afraid to take a torch to any old relationships or any emergent relationships, like recent new relationships that are actually just reminding you of old ones and aren't really bringing anything new to the table. And you are the torchbearer for ancestral healing through the generations of your family, and also for bringing light into the depths, like the Queen of Cups glowing underwater, bringing light into the depths of your shadow and integrating it. And that is so beautiful, how that is just burning away what is not needed, and empowering you with everything you do need. Such glorious confirmation from that tea leaf card of the torch there. I'm getting two together now. Sun, happiness and well-being, and fair woman, dealings or relationship with a woman with blonde, gray, or white hair. I've had a few readings in the last month or so where this has come up, signifying a family member that someone was cutting ties with. So for a few of you who've been here for those readings and that resonated with you, or even if you haven't been here for those readings, if that applies to you, this is confirmation of torching that relationship being the right move. And for the vast majority of you for whom that resonates, that's going to be something you've already recently done, and you're just getting confirmations that you don't spiral into self-doubt about it. And the sun is signifying like the light side, the positive side of the fire, the sunrise on the paradise, and the light rays shining into the waves. The way that this emotional fulfillment and this integration of your shadow is permeating your whole life. The way that this lightning strike is going to kind of course correct your whole life, because it's the manifestation of you finally releasing, cutting ties with the last specks of resistance you had to the very change that you actually want and have been calling in. Don't fear this lightning strike or this fire burning things to the ground. It is actually the bearer, the bringer about, the harbinger of the very changes you have been praying for. It is you emerging from the cocoon, or maybe you'll feel more like it's you going into the cocoon, and as you come out of it, you're going to have everything you need to butterfly, depending on just what the situation looks and feels like to you. But it is giving you everything you need to butterfly. Thank you so much for being here, Pile 2. This has been an incredibly rewarding and fulfilling and nourishing reading to do, so I really appreciate you letting me read your energy. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to bring through messages that are so meaningful to me, and I truly hope they are meaningful to people who hear them. I truly hope they are received by all of the people who would benefit the most from them, who would truly benefit for their highest and best good and be aligned with them. If you are interested in a personal reading, you can check the link to my website in my bio or in the description box below. And I offer several services that are not easily encapsulated in, a ready-to-purchase video recorded personal reading. So check out the info on that on my website and email me an inquiry if you need a space clearing on your home or land or building, and you want to inquire about that. If you have a specific thing you're looking for healing on and you're not sure if I can do that in a pre-recorded video like I do the card readings, feel free to contact me. I would love to consult on your questions and see how I can be of service. Thank you again so much for being here. I'm wishing you all the best, and I would love to hear about what's going on for you, if this has resonated for you, what you're leaving behind, what you're stepping into, what this tower moment looks like for you as that comes about, because this feels like the relatively near future, like within the next few months, this tower moment. So please, if you remember, come back and tell me about it. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day.